Fellas, South Sudan is sending a delegation to America. You know why? Because the United States of America has canceled all visas of South Sudan passport holders. What's up, everybody? I hope you're doing good. It's a beautiful day. Thank you very much for stopping by. You appreciate it. We talked about this the other time, and we're going to continue talking about it with our private group, people that are joining our membership program in details. And I think if you want to be part of it, feel free to go join us. It's very much appreciated. Yes. The United States of America has revoked visa held by South Sudanese nationals and suspended issuance of new visas. The action was announced on April 5, 2025 by the U.S. Secretary Marco Rubio, who cited South Sudan's failure to cooperate in repatriating its citizens as the primary reason of the decision. So, in other words, somebody does wrong, you go to his family, you beat everybody up. Somebody does something negative, you arrest his mother. That's what it is. Hoping that he comes out wherever he is so he can face justice. In the meantime, mother is sleeping in prison. How different is that? How different is that? I mean, the people, the humans of South Sudan that live legally in America, do they have to live the price of a decision made by one person or a few persons in the government? How is that possible? What about them? What about the livelihood? What about the people they take care of? What about people who have perhaps difficult disease that needs money to be paid and they don't necessarily have insurance? I understand everybody should have insurance. That's your perspective of life. What about the little small things that a father would do for their child in America, being a South Sudanese, that requires money that they cannot do anymore because without the visa, then you don't have a job and you are almost illegal, I think, because that's the policy. Is that the right thing to do? So why has America done this? America has done this because they sent people back to South Sudan saying, you shouldn't be in America, you should go back to your country. In the meantime, they sent somebody to South Sudan and South Sudan sent a person back to the United States saying that he shouldn't be here. Now, who is this person? They found out the person was not even South Sudanese.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation of the Republic of South Sudan wishes to formally communicate the recent decision by the government regarding an individual deported from the United States who was denied entry at Juba International Airport on April 5th and April 6th of 2025.
So they just took him like a sheep. Back, come you sheeps from Africa. Hunter, yandere. Send them to South Sudan. It's okay, they're going to find their own way from South Sudan. They're going to walk all the way to the Congo. Look at the distance. You don't have to bring them back to America. You can send them. They can cross the road. They can walk. I mean, Africans have walked for thousands of years. He can walk back to his country. Look at Juba. Look at Kinshasa. See the distance? No, he must walk from here to here. He doesn't have to come back to America. Tension arose after a man named Mwekassa Kintu, an alleged Congolese deportee, was denied entry at Juba International Airport. The man had been expelled from the US on April 5. Washington had accused Juba of refusing to take in its own citizen.
In the spirit of the existing friendly relations between South Sudan and the United States, the government of the Republic of South Sudan has decided to grant Mr. Mwekassa Kintu permission to enter the country.
So imagine, you as a country having to accept a person from another country just because you're scared of having a problem with the United States of America. Like, can a French accept someone from Somalia because he's been deported from the US to France because he looked like he's French, because you found black French, right? Will France accept that? Will America cancel all visas of French people because France refused to accept a person that's from Somalia and he's not French? No, they will never do that. Of course they will never do that. Will they do that to France? They will never do that. Never. Well, they will never do that. I'm sorry. Sometimes if you want a good influence, because we know America wants to have positive influence across the world, it's also about how you treat people. You can't be pushing people left, right, center and expect them to look at you the same. It's difficult. Why would you arrest somebody's mother for the crap the son did? It makes no sense. It doesn't make sense. A man is Congolese and you want him to walk from Juba to Kinshasa. How is he going to go through the gorillas and the mountains and the lions and the leopards? I mean, how is that even possible? So you expect the Juba people to just let him in. Where are they going to put him? Oh no, he's just an African. I mean, Africa's going to find a solution. I think that is something that it's telling of how they feel about you. Now, according to U.S. Secretary Marco Rubio, the matter is a question of national security and public safety. National security and public safety. So national security. So is this man a danger to national security? Like, is he a terrorist or killer or serial troublemaker? I don't know. Public safety, does he have like a disease or so? I'm just trying to understand. I mean, if you can make a mistake and say, you know what, okay, sorry, that guy's not from you, let's send him to Congo where he belongs. It costs nothing. Does it cost you losing all your visas with the students, the workers, and they refuse issuing new visas because of a Congolese person? Fellas, Africans need Africans, man. So South Sudan have sent a delegation, and the delegation will aim to ensure an orderly, legal, and dignified repatriation process. It will be led by Finance Minister Marshall de Green, after Central Bank Governor Johnny Ohisha Damien and Civil Registry Director Elisha Koficho.
The ministry further announces that the Honorable Minister is planning for an official bilateral visit to the United States to engage in discussions with his U.S. counterpart on matters of mutual interest and cooperation, underscoring the government's commitment to strengthening diplomatic, political, and economic ties with the United States.
You know, sometimes people just don't want you anymore. So they're going to find any sort of reason just to remind you, like if I don't like you, I'm going to find, I don't need to confirm. So America has also asked Americans not to go to South Sudan because they predict something really bad is going to happen. And the American service in South Sudan is running through a skeleton stuff. So that's what it is. Now, South Sudan is going through the most. South Sudan is this country right here. Like I said, it used to be part of Sudan. It's mostly black people. The northern side is mostly Arab, Berber-looking people. So they had issues because the black-looking people didn't like the way they were treated by the Arab-looking people. They say, okay, we want to create our own countries. So the Arab-looking people who are predominantly rich and powerful didn't like that. So they had a big mayhem and a lot of people were unalived. Bad. So South Sudanese wanted to be an independent country. Okay, they've tried very hard to become an independent country. At the last, they became the independent country. They are the last born country in the world, slicing the country into two parts. Now, when they became another country, very slowly after they started fighting each other over power. Yeah, that's black people. I'm sorry. Yeah. Somebody says, I think it's the apartheid, one of the apartheid leaders in South Africa, say black people can't run themselves. Yeah, you give them power, they're going to subdue and subject each other on oppression. You give them weapons, they're going to unalive each other. It's crazy. Now, was he wrong? I'm just asking. Well, what happened? You fought for so many years to have your own country. Once you got your own country, you started murdering each other because one of you want to be like, it's crazy. Anyway, let's move to South Africa. Now, in South Africa, the EFF in the Northern Cape is set to stage a protest march to the office of Premier Zamani Soul on Tuesday, voicing a strong opposition to the continued existence of a town named Orania. Okay, Orania is very interesting. We're not talking about it just now. So the EFF contended that Orania represents a deliberate effort to preserve and remain of apartheid-era ideology, warning that its continued operations signal a broader aspiration to normalize segregationist principle in a democratic South Africa.
EFF is raising a profound fundamental issue that needs both black and white to speak to it, because they agree that there should be a generation that will engage and speak about their existence in order to make sure that we don't speak past each other. Secondly, we are taking our march, we are continuing with our march to the Premier's office.
So Orania is this place right here. Orania is exclusively white. Okay, it's Afrikaners. Afrikaners are white people, came from mostly Netherlands, but mixed with French and Germans that live in South Africa. Okay, they came strongly. They acquired lands. They did not mix with the black. So for many years, blacks used to work for them. They will beat them up if they do wrong. To areas of white people, areas of black people. Separation. Very sad moment for South Africa. Now the Afrikaners in 1994 went to election against the black people, especially the ANC. And after that, Nelson Mandela won the election when he came out of jail. After spending 27 years in jail for terrorism and some other stuff he was arrested for. But he believed he was working and fighting for the interests of black people. After he came to jail, Orania was allowed since 1991 to exist. Orania is a city that is exclusively white. No black people is officially allowed there. You need to be white, you need to be Christian, you need to be Afrikaner. Okay, so you need to speak the language named Afrikaans. Orania has had some positive reviews saying it's the most secure place in South Africa because South African cities are not the most safest. Absolutely not. Actually, they are among the most dangerous cities in the world. And some people will say that apartheid was a peaceful time, meaning there was no crime in South Africa. And cities like Johannesburg, Durban, and Cape Town used to be very safe, which is not the case today. You need to be very careful when you're walking through the street of Johannesburg because somebody's going to either steal your cell phone and hit you with a baseball bat or put a gun on your neck or something like that. Same for Durban and Cape Town. Now, they believe, let me just remind you here, South Africa has the most security companies in the world. We're talking about private security companies. And the security business employs the most people in South Africa. Yes, they have more security personnel than they have the police and the army combined. Well, when you see a country with so many security guards, you know there is mayhem. Yes, so the security company also move the economy. Now, it feels like somebody wants mayhem in a country because if they wanted things to be peaceful, they will track those people and make sure the security company number they reduce. If the security company's number is not reduced, you still have a lot of security company and the business is booming. It means somebody's authorized. Is somebody really fighting against crime? Okay, big question mark. That's politics. Let's avoid that. Now, Orania is this place right here that's fully white. They have their own currency. They have their own language. They have their own laws. They have their own school system. They have their own currency. Yeah. So you cannot go there. You unauthorized. Now, the EFF, which is this political party that is run by Julius Malema, perceived by many as a revolutionary African, perceived by others like an idiot. Some people think he's an idiot. Yeah, you'd be surprised to hear people think Malema is an idiot. He hates white people. Yeah, and some people believe he's a revolutionary. Some black South Africans also don't like him because apparently he favors foreigners more because he talks about Pan-Africanism, accepting other black people. You find a group of black people who hate him for that. Some other people like him for that. So nobody is 100%. Anyway, so EFF is fighting to get Orania removed. The party argued that Orania, a predominantly Afrikaans enclave with an estimated population of 3,000, undermines national unity and perpetuates ideology reminiscent of the apartheid era. So some people believe, why do you need to go stay by yourself among white people who, for many people, don't like black people? Are you racist? Or do you want to continue your racism? EFF provincial chairperson Shadrach Tlahole stated that Orania should be abolished. Orania is not what we should appreciate or accept as EFF. Now, is Orania legal? Well, Orania is legal as per the Constitution of South Africa. South Africa's Constitution guarantees freedom of association under the Section 18. This means individuals or groups are legally allowed to associate or not associate with others. Yes. So you can choose who you want to associate with or not associate with. Well, that's very dangerous if you take it to another African country. You say, okay, I'm choosing not to associate with the Kikuyu people. They say you are tribalist, right? If you as a Luo in Kenya refuse to associate with Kikuyu, you are tribalist. Or you as an Igbo refuse to associate with Yoruba people and Fulani, they will say you are tribalist. Well, in South Africa, it is authorized by the law. Orania uses this right to justify its Afrikaner-only community based on a shared language, culture, and identity, claiming it's not racial exclusion but cultural preservation. So Orania, Afrikaner people say they want to preserve Afrikaner. They don't want to mix with other people. Okay, it's a little bit like the country you don't name. They don't want to mix with none of you guys. Okay, they want to stay by themselves. So Orania also want to stay by themselves. They don't want anything to do with black people. And it's a clean place, extremely clean. It's very secure. There've been no robbing, no car robbing, no armed robber, nothing, none of that. So people have justification for it. The South African Constitution also talks about cultural self-determination in Section 31 and Section 235. The Constitution also includes provision that allows cultural, religious, linguistic community to practice and preserve their identity. So Orania exists based on law. Who voted that law? Well, question mark. Many people came up with the law in the constitution. The ANC of Nelson Mandela, the DA that is predominantly white, the Freedom Front that is Afrikaner, predominantly white, and many other individuals. They agreed to that and send it to a law court to agree with it. That for you fellas means Orania is official. So can you fight it? Well, it's going to be very difficult. Did the black people at the time just rush into signing the paper because they wanted to get freedom and access power? Sometimes when you rush to access something, you say yes to everything else. Then later on you go like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Because Orania apparently is not the only city, People talk about another city named Klein-Fontaine. They say MK party. This is Zuma, Jacob Zuma's party. Jacob Zuma, ex-president, created his own party. He left the ANC because he wasn't happy with them anymore. He created his own party. The MK party visited another white-only settlement named Klein-Fontaine in Pretoria on Monday, complaining about the same situation with the EFF. So you have Orania and you have Klein-Fontaine. If you look at the B-roll of the MK party at Klein-Fontaine confronting the white people, they're all laughing. Like, what are they laughing about? Just look at that.
That's why we said.
Anyway, let me know how you feel about this. It was a great pleasure. Sudan paying the price against the United States of America for refusing to have a Congolese citizen in the country when they're chasing. It's crazy stuff. And the EFF fighting against Orania. Of course, fellas, we're going to go into depth in our private session with the members only. God bless.